Open your heart, open your heart. See what's inside, see what's inside. Lay down your walls, lay down your walls. Lay down your fears, lay down your fears. Lead into love, lead into love. You are welcome here, you are welcome here. Maker of day, maker of day, maker of night, maker of night. Feed me with song, feed me with song. Let me be your light. Hine mato, hine mato. Umanai. Shevet Achi. Kam yachad. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
To those whom I'm greeting for the first time since 2023, a very happy new year. To all who join our congregation via our live web stream, Shabbat Shalom to you. I hope that you're safe and warm. Congregation tonight is clearly a kihila of people who don't necessarily think that a holiday weekend is for skiing. So thank you for spending it with us. If you have joined us for the first time tonight, a special welcome to you. And if you're joining us for the first time in a long time, welcome back, welcome home. All of these welcomes are kind of meaningless unless you do them too. So please take a few moments while we make some music in the background to get out of your seats, take the eyes and the hand of somebody you haven't ever met or not seen in a long time, wish that person Shabbat Shalom. He So let me offer another invitation. This weekend marks 100 days that hostages have remained in captivity in Gaza, 100 days since the attacks of October 7th, 100 days of heartache and pain and anxiety. Tomorrow, we will have the sacred privilege as a community to host several families of hostages who have been taken. I hope that you will choose to join us at 11 a.m. for this important community gathering and demonstration of our love and support. That will take place here in person. The event will not be live streamed, but it will be recorded and then uploaded as soon as we can. Every Friday night for the last many weeks, we have dedicated lights for those who remain in captivity. These small blue tea lights have a little switch on the underside, and when you flip the switch, it illuminates. And so as we prepare to kindle light, we'll invite all the members of the community tonight who feel moved to come forward to kindle these lights. We also would welcome to the Bima Sarah and Andrew Levine, our congregants and volunteer leaders, to kindle lights for Shabbat, and let the meditation that we offer as we do so come from the words of Martin Luther King, whose birthday will be celebrated as a federal holiday on Monday. Darkness, he said, cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Please come forward at this time if you would like to light a candle.
Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shabbat.
And let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Andrew and Sarah. I'll introduce myself. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Blake. The pleasure of leading tonight's service with Cantor Amanda Kleinman, Cantor Isaac Sonnet Asor, and these exceptionally gifted musicians and spiritual leaders, Pete Malinverney, Idan Sandhaus, and Jerome Morris.
This week marked the 13th yard site of Debbie Friedman of blessed memory. It's hard to believe, isn't it? It would be hard to overstate the impact Debbie had not only on Jewish music, but on Jewish identity and connection for so many, probably including a number of us in this room. Many of us take for granted the idea of congregational, participatory worship, but it was really Debbie who made the idea of a singing congregation a reality. Her melodies are warm and inviting, helping to reinterpret ancient words for modern audiences. Debbie had a special relationship with this congregation, serving as our artist in residence and as a friend and mentor to many of our clergy and many in our congregation. In fact, she wrote several pieces of music for WRT. The one you probably know best is the Oseh Shalom you'll hear a little bit later on in our service. But tonight, our Kabbalat Shabbat prayers, Lechu Neranena and Lecha Dodi, will feature melodies that Debbie wrote for us. Page 130, Lechu Neranena, let us sing out. And in our singing, let us also celebrate Debbie's life and the legacy she left on our community and on the Jewish people. Page 130, both Lechu Neranena and Lecha Dodi are melodies that Debbie wrote for WRT. Lechu Neranena l'Adonai, na'ia letzur yisheinu, nekadma fanav betodah, v'zmirot na'ri'alo.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, na'ria letzur yisheinu, nekadma fanav betodah, v'zmirot na'ri'alo. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, na'ria letzur yisheinu, nekadma fanav betodah, v'zmirot na'ri'alo.
138. Let's try it together.
לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמות וצפון, בדיבור אחד, תשביענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולקהילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת
standing as we are called to prayer 146.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofteinu Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha Uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu le'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla Nege yomam v'layla Ve'ahavat al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto leolam va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele Asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Ve'shinantam levanecha Ve'dibarta pam B'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlechtecha v'aderech Uvshochbecha uvkumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha Ve'hayu letotafot b'neinecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Leman tizkeru Vasitem ekol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem
אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Imagine Miriam, who led the Jewish people through the perils of the raging sea. Miriams don't come around all that often. When Debbie led us, she was Miriam. Her voice, her instrument, lifting our spirits, giving us hope, even in a world raging all around us. Micha Mocha, another of Debbie's immortal melodies, page 158. Thank you. 158.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Al Yisrael.
Amen. 162.
The Torah refers to Pharaoh's hardened heart with 3 different Hebrew words. And in the context of the Exodus story, we take a hardened heart to mean one who is stubborn or unfeeling. And yet with one of these same roots, this root we know so well, chazak, strength, the Israelites are taught to strengthen and to encourage their hearts in the face of fear, to not let their hearts grow soft. It takes courage to keep the heart open rather than letting it harden. May our hearts be courageous, never hard, open, yet never soft. Page 242.
Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth, open my hands to give freely, open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agi tehilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi agi tehilatecha. Open my lips to good words, to pure words, open my heart to love. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii gula livnei bneihem, Leman shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Take a few moments to offer silent prayers if you'd like to daven from your Siddur. The evening prayers of the Tefillah begin on page 172. You may choose to remain standing if that is your custom, or you may choose at this time to take your seats. Shabbat Shalom. In late February of 2020, Kelly and I joined 11 other couples, all rabbis and their partners or spouses, on a 9-day trip to Egypt. This seems hard to fathom even now. We visited just days before pandemic lockdown, openly as a Jewish group, with an Israeli travel company, meeting with most of the remaining Jews left in Cairo, and learning about Egypt's efforts at the time to cultivate Jewish and specifically Israeli tourism by pouring millions of dollars into the restoration of historic synagogues. At the time of our visit, there were 8 officially recorded Jewish residents of Cairo. In 1948, upon the establishment of the State of Israel, Egypt had between 75 and 80,000 Jews, most of whom were expelled beginning in the 1950s, a fate similar to that of most Jews from Arab lands. For these reasons, to say nothing of blood and frogs and lice, oh my, I approached this trip with hesitation bordering on trepidation. Little did we know that we had more to fear from an invisible virus than from other threats, either real or imagined, like terrorism or mummies' tombs. Still, for this rabbi, the very mention of Egypt called up all sorts of associations, most of them bad. Is any other place on earth called the house of bondage? Don't answer that. I recalled the Torah's admonitions never to go back to Egypt, where our people were ruthlessly enslaved at mortar and brick. But I figured a chance like this doesn't come around every day. So Kelly and I boarded a plane and we were off. What we discovered in Egypt dispelled my anxieties and opened my eyes. We encountered a complex, vibrant, and wounded society, still reeling from the failed Arab Spring of a decade prior, which precipitated the overthrow of the despot Hosni Mubarak and shortly thereafter the subsequent coup d'etat that ousted his successor, Mohamed Morsi, who had violently suppressed the protest movement. Even now, under Mohamed al-Sisi, Egypt remains a repressive military dictatorship with 1/3 of its people living in crushing poverty. And yet we also experienced a society of generous hospitality, kindness, and openness to tourists. Yes, Jewish tourists. And at least between government officials, a real partnership between Egyptians and Israelis, particularly where security matters are concerned. Egypt has remained Israel's most steadfast and important regional partner, with whom a stable peace has been preserved for 45 years. My time in Egypt certainly informed how I think about Egyptians, who feature at the center of this week's Torah reading, Parshat Va'era, the second portion in the book of Exodus, and who, at the same time, are decentered from that narrative, in that the story is told from the Israelites' perspective, and we never really hear what the Egyptians are thinking or feeling. The Parsha depicts the first 7 plagues against Egypt, a contest of escalating violence between the God of the Hebrews and the Pharaoh, his court, and all the gods of Egypt, with the objective of freeing the captive Israelites from Pharaoh's ruthless terror regime. Unmentioned, but surely present, were the countless Egyptians enduring a horrific bombardment which brings to their territory widespread destruction of property, the death of cattle and livestock, a shortage of food and potable water, outbreaks of vermin and disease, a terrifying rain of fiery hail from the skies. And that's just this week's Parsha. Next week will come the locusts and the darkness and the death of the firstborn. In any case, I have thought a lot in recent days about these ordinary Egyptians, and I have taken a liberty that rabbis tend to take, which is to read the Torah not only at the level of pshat, the surface or plain sense of the text, but also at the level of drash or midrash, imagining the story in between the lines of the text. I wondered, what the Egyptian masses in between the lines of our story felt about the unrelenting assault on home and property and health and life. Terror, certainly, but what else? Bewilderment, impotence, rage? And if rage, at whom? Did they blame Pharaoh and his courtiers for getting them into this mess in the first place? Did they blame Pharaoh for his stated aim to commit genocide against the Hebrews, issuing a policy of drowning them in the Nile? Did they blame their own taskmasters for brutalizing the Hebrew slaves? Or did these ordinary Egyptians believe that they were all just following orders? I imagine that the vast majority of Egyptians lived far from Israelite settlements and did not see themselves as in any way complicit with their suffering, any more than the average Israelite saw him or herself as complicit in all the hell of plagues inflicted on their enemy. And yet the average Egyptian surely suffered inordinately, while Pharaoh and his company enjoyed the luxury of palace life. Did the Egyptians blame the Hebrews for settling in their land under Joseph many generations earlier? When Moses demands again and again, "Let my people go," and Pharaoh refuses again and again, his heart, as we have heard, hardening to the plight of the captives, how did that play on the Egyptian street? From what I saw of Egyptian archaeology in February of 2020, I can confidently state that ancient Egypt was not an open society. The Pharaoh ruled supreme as a living god among the people. I'm sure public protest was not tolerated in Egypt, so it's hard to know how ordinary Egyptians felt about Hebrew slavery at all, given that they were no less subjects to Pharaoh's iron-fisted rule, whose lives mattered little, if at all, to their autocratic tyrant. Do imagine that these ordinary Egyptians, embittered by life and indoctrinated by their state-sponsored belief system to worship death, probably carried a deep and pervasive sense of victimhood. I wonder all this about the Egyptians, and my questions at the end of the day continue to go unanswered. The text gives us only what it gives: the words on the page and the blank spaces in between to ask questions and imagine all the untold stories. We call this midrash. But there are other Jewish texts, important texts, both within the Torah and beyond it, that invite us to recognize that despite the fact that the Egyptians were our enemies, and despite the fact that for us to demand freedom from captivity and terror was just, both in cause and in means, even through the use of force, the Egyptians nevertheless were still human beings, and they were suffering human beings at that. Even in the hell of war, Judaism does not give us license to dehumanize the enemy. Even one's enemy is a human being made in the image of God, we are taught. And so when the 10 plagues are recounted at the Pesach Seder, we spill a drop of wine in acknowledgement that the fruit of our joy and the cup of our liberation is diminished by the suffering of the Egyptians. And the Talmud affirms that God does not rejoice in the defeat of the enemy, even portraying God as chastising the angels for wanting to sing while the Egyptians were drowning in the sea. And this is the Torah's own directive. Lo t'ta'ev mitzri ki ger hayita ba'artso. You shall not abhor an Egyptian, for you were a stranger in his land. I would be remiss not to conclude on this Shabbat with words by Reverend Martin Luther King. On the subject of loving our enemies, a notion deeply embedded in Christian thought but not emphasized in Judaism, actually deeply uncomfortable in relationship to Judaism, King delivered a sermon at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama on November 17th, 1957, that offers a little food for thought for this Jewish setting at this Jewish moment. In the final analysis, King said, "Love is not this sentimental something that we talk about. Love is not merely an emotional something. Love is creative, understanding goodwill for all men. It is the refusal to defeat any individual. When you rise to the level of love, he said, of its great beauty and power, you seek not to defeat any individual man, but rather to defeat evil systems. O God, he prayed in conclusion, help us in our lives and in all our attitudes to work out this controlling force of love, this controlling power that can solve every problem that we confront in all areas. Amen.
These words of Dr. King's turned into an anthem by Pastor Delonte Golston of Peace Fellowship Church in Washington, D.C. Oh, 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 oh. Night cannot drive out the night, only light, only light. Night cannot drive out the night, only light, only light. Hate cannot end all this hate, only love, only love. And hate cannot end all the hate, only love, only love. Oh, 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 hate cannot end all the hate, only love, only love. Hate cannot end all the hate, only love, only love. Oh, oh, oh,
Debbie Friedman's melodies have traveled far and wide in her life and since her death. But I think more importantly, they've traveled very deep. And in this community and in countless other Jewish communities, not only Reform Jewish communities, by the way, her melody and words of healing, Mi shebeirach avotenu ve'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors, our forefathers, our foremothers, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, with a complete return to well-being, are sacred words and a sacred tune. And so we'll offer those words and that melody as we think of our loved ones in need of healing If you have a person in your life who is sick or in need of a little spiritual strengthening and you'd like to stand for that person and share his or her name at this time, please feel invited to do so. One chair sits at the front of our room next to the flag of the State of Israel with the words, "Bring them home." Let us offer this Misha Beirach for our loved ones and also for all those who have loved ones in captivity. Our community also prays tonight for the healing of Binyamin Ben Reuven, Jennifer Leventhal, Jeffrey Millman, Malka Gila Batbina, Emerson Lorenzoni, Jake Cooper and Addison Cohen, Beth Dworetsky, Yochanan Ben Sipora, Judy Balsam, Ilana Bat Shmuel, Leah Bat Nina Bat Binyamin, Matthew Atwood, Deborah Kapnick, Chava Bat Sara, Eliyahu Chaim Ben Fredel, Sheila Freed, Jenny Kaufman, Zachary Morant, Ronald Keeves, Alan Malamed, Judy Lass, Jane Starts, and Sandy Wolf. We offer our prayer together, the words on page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 586. We invite you to rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Even as light can dispel darkness, so too can the light of remembrance dispel forgetfulness. And in the light of love that continues in our lives through our remembrances of those who blessed us while they lived, we allow them a share of immortality. This time, we'd like to acknowledge all the mourners in our community who are remembering loved ones who died at this time of year, in years gone by, and who have been taken from the midst of our WRT family in recent weeks. I'd like to ask you to rise in the following order. If you are within the first 7 days of remembrance for a loved one, would you please rise? Those who are within 30 days, a shaloshim of remembering a loved one, please rise. If you are within a first year of remembering a loved one, would you please rise? And those who commemorate a yard site tonight, would you please rise? Let all who are here tonight stand with our mourners together in sympathy and in fellowship as we remember those taken in the last 4 weeks: Marion Herman, mother of Jackie Herman Elsner; Rabbi Peter Schweitzer, husband of Myrna Barron; Richard Denmark, husband of Susan Denmark, and father of Allie Gordon and Michael Denmark, brother of Kay Denmark; and Jean Chalk, mother of Lisa Sussman. And those whose yahrzeit we remember tonight: Gloria Baker, Helen Beck, Isidore Goroshow, Robert Bernstein, Lena Black, Marion Cooper, Joan E. Dagan, John Benson Dagan, Jack Dobosh, William Finkelstein, Beatrice Friedberg, Peggy Friedman, Edna Garb, Harry Garb, Ben Thomas, Paul Gardner, John Gellis, Sophie Ginsberg, Mary Goldsmith, Helene Griebel, George Greenfield, Charles S. Guggenheimer, Norma Joseph, Kate Kay, Francis Corrins, Charlotte Cassow, Edward Krupman, Edwin Lebeau, Eleanor Leff, Stephen Leventhal, Ilya Lukshin, Lily Melamed, Celia Meyerson, Harry Mizrahi, Bernard Moser, Nora Muchnick, Bertie Nadler, Barbara Osterreich, Roy Puchalski, Audrey Rezes, Stan Rand, Irving Resnick, Margaret Ressler, Faye Richmond, Saul Rothkopf, Mary Sandhouse, Robert Schneider, Michael J. Seelig, Arlene Shears, Ruth Sugar, Louis Uden, Michael Schulman, Stephen Silberfein, Helene Tarshis, Ruth B. Toff, Evelyn Tooby, Anna Unger Weinberg, Stefan Weinberg, Mona Weiss, Gerson Werner, Claire Wiener, Erwin Paul Witchell, Barbara Zale, and Burton Zellner. If you have names to add to our commemoration, kindly speak them at this time. Let their memories provide light as we offer the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. You'll find them in our prayer books on 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol be'Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam alamei amaya, yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yithalal, shemed kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
V'yimeru amen. V'yimeru amen. V'yimeru amen. V'yimeru amen.
Once again, Shabbat Shalom. We hope you'll join us in the lobby for a little oneg after services. And please make a new friend in 2024. Meet somebody you have never met. Stay a few moments, schmooze with us after services tonight. Tomorrow morning, Torah study will take place in person in the Sifriya and over Zoom at 9 a.m. And we will begin our program welcoming and hearing the stories of families of those kept in captivity in Gaza, beginning promptly at 11 a.m. Please bring ID, as we expect that you'll want to be responsive to the security needs of the congregation tomorrow. I'm not saying we're going to check everyone's ID. I'm saying bring ID. And we would love to invite you to stay after the conversation for a community bagel brunch. Also, we invite other things happening that we should know about? Yes.
I've saved the date for a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Unless you have other things that are sooner.
I probably do, but I didn't write them
Okay,
down,
all right.
so yeah.
Please mark your calendars. 2 weeks from this Friday night is Shabbat Shirah, the Shabbat of Song. It's called the Shabbat of Song because it's the week during which we read the Song of the Sea, the song that the Israelites sang as they crossed the Red Sea from slavery into freedom. And this year for Shabbat Shirah, we are welcoming from Israel A truly spectacular prayer and songwriting duo, Rabbi Cantor Shani Ben Or, together with Boaz Dorot. Shani is actually the first Rabbi Cantor ordained in Israel, and Boaz, who has been serving in reserve duty near Lebanon, will be released from his reserve duty just a few days before flying here to WRT. Shani and Boaz are sharing a very important voice and a very important perspective from Israel right now through the lens of prayer and through the lens of song. It'll be a beautiful weekend that includes our Friday night Shabbat service as well as our Shabbat in the Round service and study on Saturday morning. So we hope to see you.
I remembered the thing.
Oh.
The thing is that next week we'll be sending details by way of congregational email, so be sure to check that for a mission of solidarity, support, and humanitarian aid to Israel that Cantor Kleiman and I will have the privilege of leading. We'll leave New York by way of a plane. On Sunday, March 17th, we'll return very early on the morning of Friday the 22nd. So it is a short but very powerful mission, and details about how to sign up for the trip and the pricing and where we'll be staying and what we'll be doing will all be disclosed by email next week. And so let's stand together as we conclude our service. Please join us. Oh, and thank you to Arlene Goldsmith, our usher tonight. Appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, oh, oh,
Night cannot drive out the night.
night cannot drive out the night.
Only light.
Only light, only light. Night cannot drive out the night. Only light, only light. Oh, oh, oh,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemasei v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. If you would like to connect with the person to your right and left by putting your arm around that person, I'll bet you they'd like it too. Join us as we say our bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'teavon, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. don't know who that is. Was it a Sandhouse or a Sandhouse? With the D. Yeah. That's more his side of the family, not mine.